The 600 horsepower NASCAR modified ground pounder is about to go the distance. 150 laps in this, the 13th annual Sunoco Fall Final here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. It's been a long weekend, qualifying yesterday through time trials, through heats and consolation events, all geared to this beginning, the 150 lap Fall Final here at Stafford. All day. Satch Worley looking for give these drivers a great Stafford spring send-off for this, the Sunoco Racing Fuels Fall Final. Pace lap is underway. The pace car will bring them down the back straightaway. We'll dive into the infield, and then we will be ready. 100. The open wheel modifieds, the fastest division in NASCAR, about to be unleashed for 150 laps. The pace car is in. Mike McLaughlin is the man who sets the pace. Billy Later, the flagman, looks them over. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to get underway. Nice and easy off the turn. They accelerate. The green flags are out, and we're underway. Into turn number 1. We have problems already, however, up on turn 4. We have 3 cars involved. S.J. Ivanson is involved with the 35, the 39 of Bruce D'Alessandro, and the 68 of Johnny Bush. All 3 cars receiving considerable damage, but it appears as though Bush got out of it the best with the 68. You can see front end damage done to the D'Alessandro number 39 and to the Ivanson number 35. So we are hardly underway, but what caution appears on the speedway?
It would not appear likely that either car will be able to continue. It appears the damage is severe.
And get that car repaired, he'll be able to continue. Apparently, he has decided he is going to need a hook. So as soon as...
tie rod, they repositioned it. The crew got him lined up again. He said it was scuffing pretty badly, and so he brought it in to have the front end twisted a little bit.
In the meantime, our field has formed up, as you see. 4 laps shown now as completed. Donald Satch Worley taking the lead away from Mike McLaughlin. He sits now on the pole in the Mystic River Missile Marina. So he's raring to go to see if he can maintain this lead over Magic Shoes. And here we go, and here's Russ.
Green flag back out and down to the line is car number 4. Worley, who jumps out in front. The Mystic Missile, car number 4, leads them off of turn number 2. It is Mike McLaughlin in second. Running in the 3rd spot is the 7 of Baldwin, but up on the outside, it is the red. Car number 69, Reggie Ruggiero, runs the high groove. Right behind him is Mike Stefanik. Turns 1 and 2. We've got 6 laps up on the scoreboard. 1.5 under green, and it is still Satch Worley out in front.
The man who looks impressive at the moment is Mike Stefanik, the number 15, moving up smartly into the 4th position.
Modified tour automobiles round the half mile here at Stafford. It is Satch Worley setting the pace early on in the event. Mike McLaughlin runs in the 2nd spot. Keep in mind, this is the first time that Mike has turned a wheel in this race car here at the Stafford Speedway this weekend. He did not qualify the car, as Ted Christopher had the honors of doing that yesterday, so Mike is jumping into a race car that is completely green to him. And it doesn't look as though he's doing any too bad for that automobile.
Not at all.
He takes a peek down low underneath Worley. Off the turn they come. Satch continues to set the pace. The red back there in the 3rd spot. Keeping an eye, of course, on Jeff Fuller, as he is the current point leader. McLaughlin makes a bit down low. Off the 2nd turn, down the back straightaway. Mike McLaughlin sticks the nose of the Coors machine in there, but not quite enough. However, he comes back with a vengeance. Between 3 and 4, Satch is able to close the door, and Worley leads across the stretch one more time.
Reg now closing in on Magic Shoes, looking for that number 2 spot, but now he backs off. Stefanik, meanwhile, all over the Reg's back bumper. Steve Park hanging tight in the 5th spot in the 77. Across the line, once again, single file all the way through the pack, but count on on things happening very, very soon.
Doug Everon, car number 3, also having a good run, as is Rick Fuller in the 44. He has been hot as the proverbial pistol of late, as has Hebron. The 74 with Chris Amon on board. That is the car to keep an eye on during a good portion of this race. Chris has had an extremely successful 1992 season with that machine. He currently sits right ahead of the Tour point leader, Jeff Fuller, who wheels the Sunoco car number 8.
Meanwhile, John Preston has worked his way from the back of the pack past about 8 cars. So Preston, who showed so well in the Spring Sizzler, is moving very quickly now in car 72.
They continue to run single file, testing the water very, very gently. You heard the comment more than once today with drivers, especially those interviewed during the pit party, saying that the general feel was go out and run the first 75 to 100 laps, stay in the lead lap, and then get serious about it in the final 50.
Brad Hietala now moving to the inside groove as he battles with Tony Ferrante. Reg slips up high, opening the door for Stefanik. Meanwhile, Hietala works his way along with Sachs past Carl Pastriak.
Off of turn 2, we go down that long back straightaway one more time with Satch Worley out of Rocky Mount, Virginia, setting the pace in the Bob Garbarino car number 4. Reggie Ruggiero takes a peek to the inside of McLaughlin. No room that time. Stefanik is all over the rear of the Reg, and McLaughlin looks to the outside. An incredible move by Mike McLaughlin. It looked at first as though he had just plain lost it, like he went up a lane. But it certainly wasn't a case of losing it. It was a case of just putting the hammer down and moving up and around with the Art Barry Coors Extra Gold car number 21. Mike McLaughlin is the leader with 17 on the board.
Now the Reg will make his bid for the number 2 spot. Meanwhile, it's the Tommy Bowles number 1 resting in the infield in turn 2.
Second caution of the event is out now. The Tom Bowles car, as you mentioned, Raleigh, has come to a stop at the exit of turn 2. All right, so they are working on that, and apparently the stops were somewhat routine for Wayne Anderson and company. Carl Pastriak also in the pit area. Here they come, back down off of turn number 4. Green light is on, flag waves, and McLaughlin once again. McLaughlin and the Reg. Here comes Stefanik up on the outside. He works his way up and around Zach Worley. Mike Stefanik puts the ADAP car right into position number 3. And Steve Park puts the 77 machine into the 4th spot, dropping Zach Worley back. We've got problems over here as Brad Hietala has gone into the wall over at turn 4. And it appears as though Bob Park has also become involved. He refires his machine. Will stay on the lead lap, but Hietala is unable to do that. Brad is backing the 54. We are set. Peter Locke will dive down low with the pace car. He's off the racetrack now. It's up to McLaughlin and Ruggiero. Here they come, nice and easy, side by side. Mike jumps on the throttle. As he does, green flag comes out. McLaughlin will lead them at the stripe. Reggie is right there, outside, however, but he suddenly tucks down low, keeps Stefanik at bay. Reggie runs second, Mike Stefanik is third, and Steve Park is now back into the 4th spot.
Ed Klemke will now challenge Worley for that number 5 spot. Klemke running a strong race at the moment. Let's see if he can maintain it. And that's a good battle in the pack.
Chris Amon has shown that he certainly has the mettle to do it, and he's also got the car. So when you put the two together, this youngster has got quite a history, or I should say quite a future for himself. He's already developed quite a history.
Klemke now has 5th place to himself in car 11. Now Amon will challenge Worley, and right behind him will be Tiger Tom Baldwin in the 7th. Meanwhile, point leader Jeff Fuller is quietly working his way through the pack in car number 8.
Jeffrey, of course, has been very, very strong here, event after event after event, and would love to take and pick up a win here today, which could put him in very good shape in terms of grabbing the point championship. But a finish is probably even more important for him. Meanwhile, Mike McLaughlin, who has not been a full-time competitor on the tour this year, wheels the Art Barry car. He's in turn number 1. He's very, very good shape for that automobile this afternoon. Magic shoes with about a 3-car length advantage over the Reg. Looks in the mirror and sees Mike Stefanik pull right up alongside Ruggiero. Stefanik not only pulls alongside, gets by, he brings Steve Park right with him, and Reggie may be having problems. In fact, he's got to be having problems with the 69, Raleigh.
Absolutely. Losing 3 spots in a quarter of a lap. So then, look at Ruggiero now dropping further off the pace. Chris Amon will overtake him now as they head into turn 3. So problems with the in-close number 69.
And it appears as though Reggie Ruggiero may not come home the winner here today unless we can get a caution very, very quickly. Let him sneak in. Trouble down in turn number 1. That appears to be the 25 of Jan Leedy.
And that was a hard hit. Ambulance, please.
And the 10 of Eddie Spires. Let's just double check that. And yes, indeed it was. The 25 of Jan Leedy, the Mr. Auto Parts Chevrolet, in for a real hard hit down in turn 1. The word that we have, you can see him walking around, surveying the damage. So very good news coming from the scene, at least in terms of the condition of Jan.
And with this opportunity, both Satch Worley, who was also dropping a bit off the pace, and Reggie Ruggiero, who was really dropping off the pace, return to the pit area now. And Wayne Anderson is back in once again, too, as well as Dan.
Wayne Anderson, we know, is still experiencing handling problems with the 16. And it appears to be tires and fuel for car number 4. So quick in and out, and Reggie may have been experiencing some handling problems, may have had a tire go away on him, the right front, and fortunately for him,
One engine of the Bill Pelly-owned car. They blew their main engine in a practice session. Had to do a lot of quick work to get this engine into the car.
Let's run to the infield for a report on Reggie Ruggiero and on Satch Worley.
Well, Tony is out at turn 1 at the moment, summing up the damage up there. Fortunately, the driver's perfectly okay. Between myself and turn 3, I've had a look at a few cars there. The front left bar on 39 I've already mentioned. 35, the suspension, they're having problems with that. Tom Bowles, I thought it was purely mechanical or just the engine. In fact, it's a half shaft that's being replaced. That was on lap 18. On lap 30, Brad Hyatala came in, number 54.
Mike McLaughlin showing very, very well in a strange car for him. Mike Stefanik in the familiar Auto Palace number 15, trying to salvage something out of what has been a pretty dismal season thus far. Here we go, looking for the restart, and here's Russ.
Nice and easy. McLaughlin jumps on the throttle. Green flag is out, and McLaughlin will bring the down again. Right in on the rear bumper. McLaughlin is dynamite coming off of that turn on the restarts. Every time he's been able to do the number. Here comes Lemke. Eddie moves by the 74 of Chris Amon. Puts the 11 into position number 4. Steve Park takes a look underneath the 15 of Mike Stefanik. No room that time. It's right back in line. And Jim Fuller is underneath Georgie Brunhole in car number 8. Fuller with the Sunoco Racing Fuel sponsored machine, finding himself moving ever so slowly towards the front end of this racetrack. Off the turn they come one more time. It is still Mike McLaughlin setting the pace with car 21. The Art Barry owned Spear Point Garage, Coors Extra Gold sponsored, car number 21. Interestingly enough, Raleigh, we've been talking about champions and championships all day long in the front row, bringing that field down for the start. This time consisted of 2 modified tour champions, Mike McLaughlin and Mike Stefanik, both recipients. Steve Park, car number 77, looking for his first win of the season. Runs in the 3rd spot. Ed Lemke has had kind of an up-and-down season, but when he has been up, it has been incredible, and he is having a terrific run today with the Hummel Brothers Deli Machine. The 54 of Brad Heitella is off the pace, as is the 28 of George Braunhosel. Both of those cars appear to be headed to the pit area. Brad involved in a wall banger a little bit earlier. Keeps it down low, but Georgie is bringing the 28 down pit road, and he will be in for service. We'll see if we can get a report on that. Barry, that one is on your side. Back to the action. Pretty much single file. We've got a problem. It is Johnny Bush, car number 68. And that car is just a huffing and a puffing as he brings it down on pit road. We'll also see if we can get a report on the Johnny Bush machine as he just limps down past the Braunhosel car and pulls in. Car number 68, Johnny Bush. Crew goes to work quickly on that machine. Meanwhile, back up front, the 21 of McLaughlin has managed to pull out about a 5-car length advantage over Stefanik. Mike Stefanik certainly has his hands full with Steve Park right there knocking on the door.
And we might note that the Reg is starting to move along, picking off cars one at a time, picking up quite a few notches in the few laps.
It was only a few laps ago, too, that Reg was running right up there in the front, and that just shows Mike McLaughlin, who is now beginning to open this thing up a little bit, has had 160 career starts on the modified tour. Collected 15 wins, 78 in the top 5, 109 in the top 10, and has collected some $440,000 since the inception of the tour back in 1985.
A little bit off the pace, and Chris Amon has closed right to his back bumper now. Meanwhile, the Reg is moving around Jamie DeMano, and the Reg picks up another spot. So the Reg is now running in 10th place.
Back down to the stripe. McLaughlin on a nice Sunday afternoon ride here on the fall final weekend. Sunoco Racing Fuels sponsored event. McLaughlin, nice and easy. Perfect line off the turn, back down across the start-finish line. With 51 laps up on the scoreboard. We now have 99 to run. And chances are very, very good that at some point beyond lap 70, we will seriously look at pit stop potential. Reggie Ruggiero continues his march to the front. Somebody who's been very quiet all afternoon, Raleigh, is Rick Fuller in the 44. Ricky, of course, not having an exceptionally good time trial yesterday, but a driver who has learned to be very, very patient and then come on like gangbusters in the end, and he seems to have learned that lesson well.
Well, Fuller last night ran at Riverside Park Speedway with his car and had problems there too, so apparently there's a little something ailing in the 44.
Esteban back at the Doug Heffron car off of turn 2. Doug is able to put Old Blue back in front. So does Heffron, Fuller, Ruggiero, and Jamie Tomeno. Bob Hart making a nice comeback after the spin that he incurred over here off of turn number 4. Leaders work their way up and around the 35 other miles. At this stage of the race, Raleigh, with many of the drivers just kind of settle in and they become one with their race car. And it is a very methodic on again, off again, on again, off again kind of routine for the drivers as they go out and pace themselves at this stage.
Now we do notice that Mike McLaughlin seems to be drifting a little bit.
And puts the 74 down low on the racetrack. And just motors right on by. And when he does, he brings Jeff Fuller right along with him.
Right, Eamon, I'm sure, had his eye in his mirror at the same time, checking to see where Fuller was. Now Fuller overtakes Lemke and also moves up one position. So now it's Eamon running 4th, Jeff Fuller, the point leader, in 5th place. Ed Lemke 6th, Tom Baldwin 7th, Doug Hodron in 8th. Followed by Rick Fuller and the Reg.
Yeah, there really is quite a race going on back there between, or we should say, Andro and the 2 of Tomato. Those 4 cars are into an interesting battle. No one is going in over their heads or anything, but it's an interesting cat and mouse game as you watch these 4 go at it. Rick takes a peek to the low side of Doug Hevron. Down into turn 1. Now Rick positions himself very nicely off of 2. And as they head down the back straightaway, they're side by side. Ricky slides in, takes the spot away from Hevron, and the Reg follows suit. Tries to set himself up to make the pass, and as they go back to turn 1, Reggie is able to do just that. We've got a spin down here. Tony Ferrante goes around with car number 31. And we'll see if he has that car. Oh, he did have it running and then it stalled. He refires it. Gets back underway. And unfortunately, he will find himself down.
Challenge coming up for the number 3 spot. Chris Amon, Steve Park, and Amon looking very, very good in that Ford-powered machine. Meanwhile, Tommy Bowles returns to the action in the number 1.
Top 2 cars have now pretty much managed to pull away. However, very quietly, Chris Amon has moved himself up to 3rd and will begin to reel in those top runners. Amon has shown time and time again that he has what it takes to get the job done and would really love to be able to pull off a win here today. Chris has not been competing on the modified tour for all that long, and yet he certainly has made his presence felt. He's only started 22 races prior to today and has got 11 top 10 finishes, 6 in the top 10 and 1 in the top 5. This is the point of the race now, Raleigh, where we really begin to watch the race cars and where they run on the racetrack. You can see that some of these automobiles are beginning to get a little bit loose. Here comes Jeff Fuller. Jeff now makes a run underneath the 77. And you almost have to wonder, after watching Fuller for this entire event, you almost have to wonder if their strategy is to go the full 150 without a stop, because he has not been beating on the tires on that race car one iota.
Well, meanwhile, Rick Fuller and the Reg overtake Tom Baldwin. Now, Stefanik is closing in on McLaughlin.
Trouble over in the backstretch as Amon came together with Carl Pastriak for just a moment. They were able to get separated, but Carl was doing some serious fishtailing coming off of turn 2 with the Amon bumper locked right in on his. Back to the front, it is still the 21 of Mike McLaughlin. He started on the pole and has led this event almost since its inception. The 69 automobile of Reggie Ruggiero has gone around, and it appears as though he made fairly heavy contact with the wall over on the backstretch. You can see front end damage done to that race car. And Reggie is trying to get it turned around, trying to remain on the lead lap, but he just simply is not able to do that. We will hit the halfway point this time by, and as we do, we find ourselves under caution at the halfway point. And now we'll find out just what the situation may be. You can see a lot of damage resulting with Reggie as he is trying desperately just to steer that race car and get it back to his assigned pit area. This is such an incredible moment of frustration for a pit crew. Just waiting and waiting, hoping that Reggie pulls down. And here comes everybody. Everybody is in. We'll see if we can get Tony to take a look at the Reg. Meantime, McLaughlin is in, Fuller is in. Both Fullers are in. Baldwin is in. The Kirk Chase car with Steve Park on board is in. Hevron, Pastriak. It looks like everybody and his brother has decided to pit at this point. And it appears now as though car number 10, Eddie Spires is the leader because Ivanson is down several laps. And first out onto the racetrack is Mike Stefanik, followed by Fuller, Baldwin, Anderson, McLaughlin, Rick Fuller, Steve Park, and Jamie Tomeno. Then Doug Hevron. Let's run to the infield now for a report.
Russ, this is Tony. I just looked at Reg's car, and he did tap the wall. It looks like an A-frame and possibly a sway bar. It is repairable, and they're working on it right now. I don't think he's going to make it out within the next few laps, but the car is repairable, and the crew is now attacking it. It's also mayhem down here with all the cars that have been in and out of the pits, and it's amazing that everybody actually fit in and fit out at the same time. Back to you guys.
Okay, it sure looked like fun from up here. I can only imagine what it must have been like down there. Is Barry still alive?
Yes, a few bits and pieces. We mentioned
what's going on in the pits, and well, what a difference a caution makes.
So, Mike Stefanik is the man who inherits the lead thanks to a very... At the moment, it looks like we'll be getting back underway as the rear of the field picks up. S.J. Ivanson, the last one to join the pack. So now we'll keep an eye on Stefanik and Jeff Fuller as they ready for this restart. 78 laps now shown complete, 72 remain.
Everybody's on fresh tires. Green flag is out. Mike Stefanik jumps on the Auto Palace car, and we're underway again. Into turn one. Stefanik now sets the pace. Fuller is right there, as is Baldwin. Here comes Rick Fuller in the 44, up on the outside to challenge Wayne Anderson as they head down the back straightaway. The 21 of McLaughlin, man who has led so much of this race, now back in position number 5. Then it is Steve Park, Doug Hevron, Jamie Tomeno, Jay Adams. A challenge for the lead, down low. Fuller makes the bid, but he is not able to pull it off. Stefanik maintains the advantage. Through 3 and 4, Stefanik, Fuller, Baldwin running 1, 2, and 3. Then it is back to Rick Fuller and Mike McLaughlin.
Wayne Anderson is again off the pace as his troubles continue in car 16.
Probably the driver hurt most in that pit stop was Chris Amon, as he finds himself with a long, long way to go to get back to the front of this pack. Greg Sachs, of course, driving a typical style that we were so used to seeing here some 10 years ago. Just as smooth as glass out there with Bill Pelly's car number 11.
No, we certainly know he hasn't been a factor so far, but don't count him out.
Mike Stefanik and Jeff Fuller. Those are the top 2 right now, as Tom Baldwin has dropped a little bit off the pace. About 4 or 5 car lengths back from the lead duo. 4 cars running under a blanket, including Tomeno, Park, Amon, and Lemke.
Once again, Jeff Fuller closes in on our leader. Doug Hevron, meanwhile, gaining ground on Steve Park a little further back.
Zach Worley, of course, involved in the early lead here, only to experience some problems with the Mystic Missile. Now trying desperately to battle his way back up after a pit stop. Wayne Anderson again now off the pace for the 16th. Been a tough day for the driver out of Yaphank, New York. But the smoke that time out of the 44. We'll have to keep a close eye on that coming off of turn 2. Ricky jumped on the throttle and a puff of white smoke emerged from that race car. We'll have to see if the car does the same thing this time by. Down through 1 and Rick Fuller. The engine huffing and puffing, not a good sign for the Mario Fiore. Polar Beverages, car number 44. Smoke there again. Quick peek down low. Can't make the move. Rick Fuller closing in on Tom Baldwin now. As Baldwin appears to be falling off the pace just slightly. 2 leaders, while they were able to open it up almost at will here over Baldwin.
Rick Fuller now battle.
A little game of bumper tag being played between Stefanik and Jeff Fuller as they work their way around the half line. They have to be concerned about those bumps. Meantime, back up front, Stefanik and Fuller still running 1-2. Jeffrey not applying a lot of pressure, but he just wants to make sure that Mike Stefanik knows that he is there. There goes McLaughlin. He's down low, makes a move underneath Rick Fuller. Ricky is able to hold him off this time. Rick looks to the outside, almost makes a commitment now to try to work his way around Baldwin. And Tommy then in turn moves right up high on the racetrack. Big old puff of smoke that time out of the Fuller automobile. McLaughlin is right there just knocking at the door. Now Mike takes the low road, looks down at the bottom, can't make the move that time, as Fuller literally pushes Baldwin down the front straightaway. McLaughlin down low. Again, tries to make the move, but Rick has the momentum of that high groove to his advantage. And Doug Everon now becomes part of that four-way battle for the third spot. The lead duo waltzing along about a half a straightaway ahead of he is probably one of the best defensive drivers that there is out on the racetrack, and he's not too bad on the offense either. Here comes Hebron. Doug Hebron makes a sweep move right underneath the 21 of McLaughlin as they head for turn number 3.
Once again, Rick Fuller closing in on Baldwin. A little tap to the rear. Baldwin certainly knows that Rick is right there. Doug Hebron, having overtaken Mike McLaughlin, will now close in on Fuller.
We've got a spin over turn 2. That is the Tom Bowles car.
And our leaders maneuver safely around that one. That would have been interesting.
Apparently the feeling is we will stay out here. Although we have seen this done before.
Yes.
And suddenly a pace car is going by pit road, and bingo, down the road they sneak. And literally throw everybody else into a tither.
The Spires back in the 10. Meanwhile, the Reg still remains in the car on pit road, down many laps. Here we go, and we've got the restart.
Ed Yarrington to the Charbonneau Tower. Green flag is out. Mike Stefanik once again brings it down into turn number 1. He will lead them into lap number 110. Mike Stefanik. The Auto Palace, car number 15, followed by Jeff Fuller, Tom Baldwin, Rick Fuller. The 3 of Doug Hebron, the 21 of Mike McLaughlin, the 77 of Steve Clark, Jamie Tomeno, and Chris Heyman. And it's Ed Flemke and the 4 for Zach Worley. Quite possibly only a handful of cars other than those remain on the lead lap. Off the second turn, and that battle for third continues. Here comes Hebron, takes a peek to the inside. No room that time. He backs on out of it, but the 21 of McLaughlin now looks to the high side. Michael tries to make a little up and around Hebron as Reggie Ruggiero inches his way back out onto the racetrack with car number 69.
And it's Rick Fuller now moving into third place. The 44 overtaking Tom Baldwin in the 7. Doug Hebron looking to make his move. Baldwin bobbles just a little bit, but Hebron did not take advantage of that bobble.
Interestingly enough, the 44 continues to hop and pump, and yet it doesn't seem to be affecting it in any way, shape, or fashion. So the laps continue to tick away. 114 will go up on the scoreboard when Stefanik crosses the line. Stefanik and Fuller running 1 and 2. Then it is Rick Fuller, and here comes Doug Hebron, makes the move underneath. the 7 of Baldwin. And apparently, like you say, Tom is now beginning to experience some problems with the 7th car. McLaughlin takes a peek to the outside of the 7th. Almost even on the outside. And is giving Tommy Baldwin a real run for his money. Mike McLaughlin out of Waterloo, New York. Up and around Baldwin. McLaughlin now slides in and grabs the spot. .150 laps. That is the scheduled distance for the modified tour here today.
And we now have 33 to go. Ups again from the 44, but he continues to maintain that power.
Both Stefanik and Jeff Fuller driving very conservative races here this afternoon, but we'll see what happens once 125 end up being posted on the scoreboard. We're at 122 right now, and we're getting close.
At 125 around there seems to be the magic number when the boys start to make their moves. So if there's anything to be done, it'll be coming up pretty soon.
Rick Fuller, of course, would love to be able to try to reel in the 2 leaders, as would Hebron and McLaughlin.
But Rick has his hands full right now with Hebron and McLaughlin, trying to maintain where he is.
Now, Chris Amon, who came out probably on the real short end of the stick at pit stop time around lap 70, has managed to work his way back into 7th spot with the 74. There's a kid that is going to be around for a while and we will hear a lot more from. Interlaken, New York is the hometown for that young fellow, Chris Amon.
There you go, side by side, Hebron and Rick Fuller.
And what a move by Doug Hebron. Incredible. Pulling up alongside a lap car, Dougie just kept his foot right in it. Ricky was forced to back out of it. And Doug just put the limp over car right up 1 spot. So he's into 3rd. Fuller is back to 4th, and rounding out the top 5 is Mike McLaughlin. Interestingly enough, Raleigh, Mike Stefanik has been able to open up about a 4 or 5 car length advantage over Jeff Fuller. Stefanik, of course, has done very, very well at this racetrack over the years. Grabbing a track championship, winning his share of tour races and regular weekly modified feature events. The Reg is headed down pit road once again. Tony, maybe you can find out what the story is this time.
Yeah, they made some major adjustments to the front end, and they also broke a half shaft. I think Reggie brought it in because the car was not handling well at all, and he decided to save what was left of it for the next race.
Okay, very, very good. Tony Sutton in the infield. Thank you, Tony. Next time, 130 laps up on the scoreboard in Raleigh.
A good battle between Chris Amon and Tom Baldwin, and Amon
right around sideways with the 21. And it cost him dearly. You can see he dropped back about 5 or 6 lengths. And continues to drop back. He may have a tire going down on that car. We'll have to keep a close watch on Mike McLaughlin with car number 21. That time he looked just fine coming off the turn.
we have 19 laps to go. And Mike Stefanik being on the line in this one. So it will be a very profitable day for our winner.
And Mike Stefanik appears to be in very, very good shape in the closing stages of this race. 14 laps, that's it. And we see Jeff Fuller now closing in on the rear bumper. They put Steve Hart down a lap. Ricky has dropped off the pace with the 44. Rick Fuller in trouble with car 44. He is off the pace on this one. The Polar Beverages machine heads back down pit road. See if we can get a report on that one from the infield. Tough break for Rick Fuller. right in front of you.
Something in the engine compartment, no doubt, as it's where they're working under the hood at the moment.
What have you got, Barry? You can see the crew working feverishly. They pull off the hood on the 44.
Meanwhile, Fuller inches ever closer to our leader. Will he have the opportunity to make a challenge? We now have 10 laps to go. 10 to go.
The Garbarino crew really cheering on their driver, Satch Worley, as he works the outside, trying to get around Jamie Tomeno. And he manages to do it. He now will set his sights on the Tom Baldwin car. 9 laps. That's what's left in this one. And the question is, can Mike Stefanik hold off Jeff Fuller, as Jeff is right there in his rear bumper? They worked their way through most of the lap traffic. Off the turn they come back down to the start-finish line. 8 laps to go. And Stefanik is right there. Go ahead from the infield.
Rick Fuller is out with electrical problems. The car started missing and just cut right out. And he's climbing out of the car now. Number 44 is done for the day.
Okay, Tony, thank you very much. Electrical problems. That is what has sidelined Rick Fuller in the 44. Thank you, Tony.
7 laps now remain. And the battle continues up front. Now, once again, Stefanik has opened up about a 4-car length lead.
Mighty Mike, and he is showing why he has gained that reputation over the years.
Meanwhile, a good battle for the number 3 spot. Here comes McLaughlin on the outside of Hebron. No, Dougie shuts the door that time. But once again, meanwhile, 5 laps to go.
Passing flag is displayed as the leaders try to make their way through some more lap traffic.
Just 4 remaining now. And time running out on Jeff Fuller.
Jeffrey at this point obviously has to feel quite good about his effort here this afternoon. Even if he comes home with a second place win, it will pad his point lead even more over Reggie. Reggie, who appears to be destined by fate to finish second in the points of the modified tour. This, I believe, would be his 4th time at doing that. So close, yet so far. Here we go, off the turn, down to the line. The 2-lap marker is out. 2 to go for Stefanik and Fuller. Final 2 circuits in the Sunoco Fall Final here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Mike Stefanik has been your leader since about lap 75. This time off the turn, white flag is out. They work their way around Greg Sachs. Down to turn 1. How will it be this time? Stefanik has the advantage. Nice and easy. Fuller apparently not able to put up a serious challenge in the closing moments. Off the turn, we're headed for home. Checkered flag is out. This is it. Down to the line, and the winner is Mike Stefanik, followed by Jeff Fuller. Then it is Doug Hebron, Mike McLaughlin, Chris Amon, Satch Worley, and Tom Baldwin. Then Jamie Tomeno, Steve Park, and Eddie Flemke. 150 laps up on the Winston Racing Series scoreboard. A nice clean race, and Mike Stefanik has managed to turn the 1992 season, which has been less than finishing next. Doug Hebron in car number 3. Mike Stefanik in the 21. Mike McLaughlin, rather, in car number 21. And we'll have a complete rundown for you in just a few moments as soon as the NASCAR Scorers completes that process. In the meantime, the Auto Palace sponsored car number 15 with Mike Stefanik into victory lane. All of the photos being taken. If you would, folks, allow Raleigh to get down to victory lane so that we can have a word with our winner. Stafford Motor Speedway. Mike Stefanik is out of the car, and pictures will be taken. And as we say, as soon as Raleigh is able to make his way down through the crowd, we'll have a word with Mike after a great run here this afternoon. Mike Stefanik up on the podium. Let's hear it one more time, folks, for Mike Stefanik. A great run for him here in the Sunoco Racing Fuels Fall Final here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Raleigh is now down trackside, and we thank all of you folks for cooperating and letting him get down there. As soon as the pictures, all the pictures have been taken, we will go trackside and have an interview with our winner.
Leather pants, I don't look at you.
We caught that, Mike. Go ahead, Raleigh, it's all yours.
Mike, it has not certainly been the best of seasons for you, all kinds of things going on, but this has to be a very gratifying day for you.
I'll tell you, Raleigh, I'm as happy as this was our first win. We've been struggling, and people, saying, he's this, he's that, and I was beginning to wonder, you run and you run good, but you can't put anything together for the whole race, and that, that's what championships are all about, and we're out of it this year. I think Jeff Fuller must have clinched it, but you got to be consistent, and it's hard to get pumped up, when the car sits in the garage all week and it hasn't done much, and morale is down. But I'm going to Charlotte next week, and probably the biggest debut of my life. And I needed this for confidence.
Well, you could tell, certainly, Mike, by the reaction of the crowd, it was a very popular win. And certainly a lot of folks are inquiring as to what's in 1993 for Mike Stefanik.
I'll tell you, folks, fans, if I knew, I'd tell you right today. We have some south things we're working on, some north things we're working on. My goal, my dream is to go down south and make it to the top. So I'm going to go to Charlotte with my own car with a lot of help from a lot of people, and see if we can get in the show and run respectively and make something happen. You can't sit home. It's not going to happen if you sit home. So you got to get out there, and you just got to run with them, and that's what we're going to try to do. But I couldn't be happier for Auto Palace, H&H Racing Gasoline, the Casellas, my crew, my wife, my little daughter's here. It's just a good day for us, and I really needed this.
Well, sir, you've had some great sponsorship, and that's a major factor, Mike.
Well, Auto Palace has been real good with us, and right off the bat, we hit it with a championship last year, and everything went so good, and I just couldn't believe that it's either that hard to make things go that well, or it's just fate, because we worked just as hard, probably harder this year we worked last year. Everything fell into place, we big point lead, and it was just everyone had a good time. It was a lot of fun. This year we struggled, we worked, and we showed a lot of speed, but never could put anything together. And let me tell you, Dale Earnhardt's feeling it now, and it's tough to be the champ. Jeff Fuller will probably find it out next year. It's tough being a champ. Everyone's shooting for you, and it's hard to back it up with another championship. But you need luck, and we just didn't have any this year.
Well, whatever it shapes up to be for 1993, Mike, I'm sure you know that you have a tremendous number of people who are behind you.
I'll tell you, that turnout we had today down here for the open house, and all the fans that come by with the Mike Stefanik apparel, and I'll tell you, I really like to thank all you people. You make it worth it. Well, worth it when things are going bad, to see everyone stick with us, and I couldn't be happier to win one in front of all of them.
Of course, many people may not know, too, Mike, that you're very active with charity as you work your way around the circuit, and I know a lot of folks appreciate that, too.
Yeah, we try to do what we can for the Yukon Children's Cancer Fund. Heck, I'm only one person. I just do what I can do. But if I have a free time, usually in the off season, I made an appearance last year at the hospital with the car and everything. And those kids are in a real tough shape. We think we got it rough because our race car isn't running good or something. But they're facing a lot more. So it's nice if you get the chance. I can't do it every week or every month, but whenever I get the chance, I try to for sure fulfill it.
Okay, we've got somebody sneaking up behind us, Mike, and certainly we wish you the best of luck. I know the media is waiting for you. And here's a gentleman we want to talk to right now. Jeff Fuller, come on up here, Jeff. Jeff finishing second, and he put the pressure on you all the way.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Jeff's a hell of a competitor. He come over here and congratulated me, and, he's going to find out. It's tough being the champ. Everyone's shooting for you, and things have to go right. Dale Earnhardt's a 5-time, 7-time, whatever he is, Winston Cup champ, and nothing's going right for him. And you start blaming yourself and looking around and wondering what's going on, but you just got to keep working, and eventually it'll come back. It's just luck and fate, and just, you put your best effort forward and just hope it all happens for you.
All right. Congratulations on a fine victory today, Mike, and good luck in 1993. Jeff, come on up here just a second. Please.
This week they took the car right down to the bare chassis, sandblasted it, checked for cracks, painted it, and every new nut and bolt that was in that car, everything in that car was brand spanking new for this race. So it's virtually a new race car. We still got to work a few bugs out of it, but the crew did a super job. They got me out in second place there, and we just didn't have quite enough there for Mike, but we'll take second. We gained a lot of points on Reggie. He had a mishap today, but it's looking good.
Well, the title's just about wrapped up. 2 races to go, Martinsville and Thompson. I'm sure you're looking forward to those, and certainly the postseason banquet when there'll be a lot of loot coming your way.
Yeah, I love Thompson. I love Martinsville. We seem to have some pretty good luck down there, and I just can't wait to get these 2 races behind us and have a party.
All right, and what, Jeff, we got to ask you too, as we asked Mike, what are your plans for 93? Do you know yet?
I really don't. I've been talking with the people from Sunoco, which have been super nice to us. Sunoco and Goodyear are major sponsors, and we've been talking a little bit. There's nothing definite. Could possibly be a bush ride next year, and we might hit the last Winston Cup race down in Atlanta, Georgia. That's in the plans right now. I kind of hope that the funds come up to do it. The car owners from Vulcan Industries are gathering up the money, and we should be in pretty good shape for that last Winston Cup race.
Okay, Jeff, the media is waiting to see you and Mike Stefanik upstairs, so we'll let you head on off, and congratulations on another strong run.
Thank you very much, and thank you people for coming.
All right, and that's the story. Back up to Russ.
All right, Raleigh, and boy, congratulations to all the winners today, to the feature event winners, to the crowning of the track champions. It has been quite a day here at the Stafford Motor Speedway, and to all of them, we say thank you. But more especially to all of you, we say thank you for coming out and being a part of this truly great event. This, the Sunoco Racing Gasoline 13th Annual Fall Final here at the Stafford Motor Speedway.